So the big question is, can a BMW S65 engine block turn into a premium piece of furniture? Let's find out. Now this engine needs a proper introduction. The BMW S65 is a naturally aspirated 4-liter V8 engine, produced from 2007 to 2013. It's legendary, powering the E92 generation M3, and it developed from BMW's S85 V10. It delivers 414 horsepower and features an 8,400 RPM redline. The design is a 90-degree V8 aluminum silicon alloy block. Now this engine only weighs roughly 350 pounds, making it lighter than the older inline-6 S54 engine it replaced. Now one of my personal favorite things about the S65 is it comes factory with individual throttle bodies, making the throttle response super crisp in this engine. The actual first build step is actually not CAD. It's going to be getting years of oil, dirt, and shop grime off the engine block. We're going to 3D scan the engine block, which means we need a really readable surface. And later, the gloss clear that I'm going to spray over the block will preserve whatever condition I leave behind. So this is one chance to make the aluminum look right before we digitize anything. Now that the engine block is clean, we can go ahead and 3D scan it. Now, I really wanted to 3D scan it just for the simple reason I wanted to see the full concept before I started making the real parts. Now, if I don't 3D scan it, then I'm somewhat guessing, and I don't want to guess. Sure, I could manually measure it, but hey, I got a 3D scanner anyways, and I already know how to CAD, so why not? Now, if you're wondering what scanner and software and PC I'm actually using an Einstar scanner utilizing the Shining 3D software. The PC is a custom-built PC that I did myself. Of course, it's got the upgraded GPU, motherboard, RAM, SSD, water cooling, etc. Basically, it's my dedicated 3D scanning PC. Now, I'm pretty happy with the scan. Not completely happy, but for what we're doing, it's good enough. If this was going into, say, like a chassis and I was using it for an automotive purpose, I would spend more time on the scan, maybe dull up the block, also install markers, and really get this scan looking way better than what it is. But for what we're doing, it's good enough, so let's get it into the CAD program. This is Fusion 360. Typically I use SolidWorks, but I've been really wanting to experiment with Fusion 360 and 3D scans, so decided let's use Fusion 360. Right now I'm actually designing the glass that will sit on top of the engine block. As you can see, we have our engine block already in the software that's 1-to-1 scale, and with that glass that I already bought, that is the piece that will be sitting on top, and I was really liking the way it was sized in comparison to the engine block. I needed to know where that glass would be height-wise, so I needed to also mock up the rug that the engine block is going to sit on, because then with at least that established, I know where the height of the tabletop will be. And if I know the height of the tabletop in relation where the block is to the ground, we can kind of connect the dots with our brackets that will mount from the block to the glass. And then on top of that, the brackets that will mount from the block to the ground. Right now we're working on the rear bracket that will hold the glass. I chose the mounting location of the bracket to sit where the starter sits in the engine block. On these BMW S65 engines, the starter literally sits in the valley. So now that our rear bracket for our glass is done, we're moving on to the front bracket. Where I decided to make the front bracket mount on is where the water pump would go onto the BMW S65 engine block. Originally, I was going to have it mount to where the thermostat sits, which is I guess you can say like the top piece, and I would have had to make the bracket like a 2-piece bracket, and then would have had to weld the 2 pieces together. But I saw this kind of later, and I was like, well, if I just make the bracket mount onto where the water pump sits, I won't really have to weld anything very similar to the bracket that is mounting onto the starter. So as you can see, we're doing the sides. I'm kind of doing the trim tool. I really love the trim tool in Fusion 360. And then I'm kind of tracing the rear bracket that we made earlier, adding holes, give it that nice little automotive cutout lightened look. I will also use the mirror tool, which is really, really handy to do. So to use the mirror, I'll definitely make a center line, and then from the center line in relation to the mirror. Now our front bracket's done, and it's looking really good. And now our brackets that hold the top of the glass are done. All right, we're halfway there. Now I just got to make the bracket that goes from the engine block down to the floor. Earlier, you saw me mock up the floor, and as you can see, I already have that height established. So now it's just a matter of connecting the dots with the bracket itself. I know that this bracket is going to be a 1/4 inch thick. We're going to do it out of steel. Now I'm just kind of experimenting, just kind of going with the different styles and stuff like that. We're going to add some cutouts eventually, and I wanted to add this bottom little cutout just to give it a little bit of, a little bit of a style. But I chose to mount, there was some 2 locations on the front of the block that you can see that eventually I knew I was going to have to drill and tap to 3/8/16. I forget what they were. I think they were having to like mount the front cover or something like that. But we're going to utilize those. As you can see, I added some holes here. Now on to the rear bracket. The rear bracket was going to basically just rest onto the block, and I was going to use kind of like a spine piece that will go from the front bracket to the rear bracket. Right now I'm just establishing a plane, and right now we're just designing the rear bracket that will mount onto the block. I'm using the front bracket that I designed earlier as kind of like my trace and reference, make it a lot easier, and we're kind of like copying it somewhat. This one isn't really going to bolt up to the block. It's just going to be resting onto the bottom of the block. So now that we got those, let's go ahead and make our spine piece. I guess we can call it a spine. I don't know, whatever you guys want to call it, but I need to know the distance. So we're going to figure out the distance very shortly. As you can see, I'm kind of just making a square, and I'm figuring out how long it needs to be. And then once I establish how long it needs to be, then we can add some style to it. I'm using the curve tool or the spline tool on both, and we're going to use my center line to mirror it. Now that it's mirrored, I'm really happy with the overall shape. Once I'm happy with the shape, then we can add some holes inside that you see here to lighten it up and give it that nice little look. All right, now all of our pieces are all designed. I can go ahead and I can export them as DXFs, send the DXFs out to the CNC laser cutter. He will cut out the pieces for me and send them back, and we'll get ready to basically turn this rendering into hopefully a real-life BMW S65 coffee table. All right, guys, now that our CAD files have been sent out, they are being cut as we speak. So, perfect time to take a break, and let's talk about my Kinda Killing It clothing brand. Obviously, I got my Kilmero shirt on. I also have the classic broken axle Kinda Killing It shirt that you see here. So, it really helps me out, guys. It supports the channel, so head to kindakillingit.com, get yourself some merch, get yourself Kilmero shirt, broken axle shirt, or even a hoodie, or even a hat. So, kindakillingit.com. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, the parts are back from the laser cutter, and they look so good, so incredibly good. Here, check them out. They're on the welding table. Here they are. Man, oh, they're so good. They're like way shinier than I thought they were gonna be. These were the ones that were completely drawn up in CAD on the 3D scan of the engine block. Here are the uppers. Like, this is the piece that will, mount like so. And then this one will mount up front like that. I don't want to give away the final look too just yet, but these are the ones that basically hold the glass, and then these are the lower pieces that hold the block onto the ground. It's going to bolt up to the front of the block. I'm still going to have to weld this guy basically, on this one like that, and then the other side of that will go to that. So we got some TIG welding to do. I was going to MIG weld them, but this is too cool of a project. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to TIG weld it. Now, the issue I'm having right now is because those pieces came out so good and the finish is so good, I don't know if I want to spray them black. I think I want to spray them clear, because the whole deal behind spraying them black was so that pieces get kind of hidden and you're more focused on looking at the engine block. And when you look through the glass, the focus is the engine block itself. And if I keep them that kind of shiny color, it kind of matches the block. And I'm really afraid that those pieces are going to kind of look like it's part of the block when they're really not. So I'm really having a hard time with this, guys. Like, I don't know if I want to shoot them clear, if I want to shoot them, black, like gloss black. Leave it in the comments. What would you do? If you were in my position, would you do them clear or would you do them black? So let me know in the comments. Let me go ahead and weld these guys up. While we're welding them up, I'm going to be pondering, Black or clear? All right, let's get welding. I just don't know where my straight edge is. My straight edge is somewhere. I just don't know where it's at, and I'm too lazy to go look for it. But it looks good. All right, see how I'm doing. Let's check it out. It's looking pretty good. You know, I haven't TIG welded in a long time. I'm a little rusty actually, but looking pretty good. Next challenge is gonna be to get this piece on there, and I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to bolt this up to the block and then get that piece tacked in place. Once it's tacked, I can pull it back off the block. We can weld that up, and then we'll let her cool down. So let's do that. This is kind of sketchy. I think we're good. I'm liking how it is. The only thing is, you know, this table right here is not perfectly flat, but with kind of how this is designed, like, you know, I didn't really lock it in place this way, so it still can kind of flex. Plus it's going to go over the rug. So even if it's just a little bit this or this way, you know, I think the rug will soak it up just fine. Worst case scenario, I can maybe tweak it, massage it. Not too worried about it. I'm gonna tilt this guy up on the back. All right, guys, all welded up. Base is all done. Looking really good. I'm really happy with how it's coming out so far. It's super easy. And you know what? I think we're gonna clear coat this. It looks too good as is. You know, we're just gonna shoot it clear. I think it's gonna look really good because you're gonna be able to see the discoloration of the welds. You're gonna see the welds a lot better. So clear it is. 2X Ultra Cover, gloss clear. Should just, you know, be enough to do all these pieces. The only thing that kind of sucks though is that I don't really have anything to hang these up like properly. So I got some rocks on the side of my house that I think I'm just gonna put the parts like on the rocks and just spray them on the rocks. Not really ideal, but I'm just working with what I got. Crappy part about shooting clear is I can't tell what I've already painted. All right, I think I'm gonna let these dry for just like a little bit, and then I'll flip them over, give them another coat, and then should be good on paint-wise. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wash the block because I was doing a little bit of there's still some debris in it, so I'm gonna clean it all out off camera, and then, you know, by that time these will be dry, and then I can paint the other side, and then after those are dry, we can move on to assembly. Washing off the engine block, I set it out here just to like let it dry, but these are pretty dang dry. Oh yeah, we're good. All right, let's get these parts inside. We'll start assembling the base onto the block. All right, let's see what this looks like on the ground. Oh, it looks so cool. That's pretty cool. Nice and level too. The block is just resting on that rear section while it's bolted on the front. Now what I did do off camera, it probably just would have bored you guys, but these little sections right here on the block, I just drilled them to 3/8/16. I just drilled them all the way through with a 5/16 drill bit, and then I tapped them for 3/8/16, and we got 3/8/16 bolts on the front, and that's essentially, you know, what's holding it together. So good. So pumped on this. This is gonna be rad. Now I really can't wait to see what it's gonna be like in the house. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pick this sucker up by hand. It's gotten a little bit heavier now that the stand's on it. We'll bring it in the house. We'll set it exactly where I want it to basically go. And then we'll put the upper brackets on it, and then finally the glass. So let's get it inside the house. Hi, Miss Willow. We got a new piece of furniture today. I completely forgot. We're obviously inside my house, and this is currently my living room. And I've been using this ottoman that you see right here as my coffee table, and it's been an absolute terrible coffee table. I'd like to move that over there, and obviously the coffee table will go right there, and I believe will fit the rest of the decor. Don't mind Willow's cat toys and everything, but it's gonna go right there. It's gonna look awesome. Well, there's part of it. Oh, this looks too cool. In a way, maybe the reflection off the black carpet, or maybe it's my camera, I don't know, kind of already hides a little bit of the bracket, just a little bit, not a lot. Man, that looks cool. That looks really, really cool. All right, now, I don't know if you saw, but I got the piece of glass right here. So I'm gonna go ahead, put the top pieces on so we can get our glass on. Okay, before I put the glass on, I got these little clear self-adhesive like pads to basically put on the top here so the glass isn't riding like on the metal. So I'll just kind of put one in each corner. I was even thinking about, I'll put one like in the center like that too. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's put the glass on. It's so good. I freaking love it. I absolutely love it. What do you think, guys? What do you think? We did it. BMW S65 engine block coffee table. Although I almost forgot about this. I do have a really cool black M3 emblem that we could stick somewhere on the table. Check it out. I just don't know where we're gonna put it. Maybe we can find a place. But I remember I got this from something, or I was possibly gonna stick it on like the M3, but it's like, I like the way it looks, but I don't know. Where do you think we could put this guy on there? Like maybe in the center, like on the glass? I don't know. Maybe that would be pretty cool. I mean, maybe stick it, I don't know, but then you wouldn't really like see it. Or you could maybe stick it like right there. That would actually be kind of cool. Maybe like right there. I think right there is gonna be where it's at. I don't think I'm gonna put the actual competition thing on there. I mean, maybe I could put it down here on the, there we go. Now it's down there on the stand. But this is definitely, I mean, might be a little bit inconvenient to put stuff on, but hey, I think it's gonna look really cool. And no, I didn't measure. All right, that's it. We started with the BMW S65 engine block. We 3D scanned it, we cleaned it, we designed the parts, we assembled it, and now it is a fully functional S65 coffee table. And I'm gonna get to enjoy it for, rest of my days over here at the house. I'm sure all my guests are gonna absolutely love it. It's definitely gonna be a talking piece in the house. Gonna try and do some more decor along the same lines. So guys, thanks again for watching. If you like this content, please subscribe. Please give this video a like, leave a comment. If you got another suggestion of another type of an engine coffee table that I could make, or maybe some other things that you've made that are along the same lines, hey, let's hear about them in the comments. So anyways, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.